What's up? Alright, so a decent amount of people seem to really enjoy the last DPH story that I told, so I figured that I would do another one. Now before I get into that, I just want to say that DPH stories, at least in my experiences, are they're all very similar, and I feel like if I keep doing DPH stories, it's just going to be a lot of the same stuff. And they're also very hard to remember, so I only remember like a handful of these stories, and again, they are all very similar to each other. So something that I want to do is, if you want, you can email me or DM me on Discord a trip report of yours, and it can be DPH or whatever. But if you want to do that, then I will look over, and if I am able to tell it good enough, then I will do a video on your trip report. And all that information will be down in the description, so please feel free. Alright, now before I get into the story, let me start off the video by saying that I am a recovering addict. I've got 5 months of sobriety right now, and YouTube has been an outlet that has helped to keep me clean and sober. So, with that being said, here's what happened. Alright, so this took place back in late 2013. I had graduated high school that year, so I had a lot of free time. I was getting high a lot, and I wasn't working yet either, so I had a bunch of free time to just do whatever I wanted for a little bit. So one night I decided to pop 700 milligrams of Benadryl, which is 28 Benadryl tablets. And it was like 9 o'clock at night. My mom had just went to bed, and my stepdad was in his office doing his own thing, playing games or whatever, so I went ahead and popped my tablets. And so I started playing Call of Duty to kind of pass the time, and the next thing I remember is pretty much I was doing terrible at the game. Like 45 minutes in, I would like catch myself staring at the walls in the game and just not even playing anymore. And so I knew that it was definitely starting to kick in. And it started off as any DPH trip would. I started seeing bugs flying around the room, started hearing voices talking, and I started to get that heavy body overload with a little bit of anxiety. And I didn't really know what to do, so I was kind of bored. So I was just kind of sitting there like listening for voices and trying to see if I could hear what they were saying. Well, after about an hour passes by, I start seeing that smoke all in the air, and I keep forgetting to breathe, which unfortunately for me is a pretty normal thing on Benadryl, especially at higher doses. So I pulled my phone out, and I was going to get on Facebook and just scroll through my feed. Well, I could not see shit. My phone was so blurry, and I couldn't figure out a way to be able to see it. Like, I was holding it really far away from my face, trying to focus my eyes, or I was like closing one eye and trying to get really close to it and trying to read it, and I ended up looking goofy as hell, couldn't read it. That definitely wasn't happening. So I put my phone away, hopped onto my computer, and I just tried to find something to listen to. So there's 2 windows in my room, both on the same side, and as I'm sitting there scrolling trying to find some music to listen to, I hear a voice talking about me, and it was just saying a bunch of negative stuff about me, and then it mentioned my window. And I turn to look at my window and I see a face just on the other side of the window. Now I was fully aware that this was a hallucination, but it did still kind of freak me out, and I was still hearing that voice when I saw the face, and that face outside my window ended up being the voice that was talking to me. It was like a DPH ghost standing outside my window, staring in at me, just judging me. And even though I still knew that it was the DPH, it still freaked me out, and I put the blinds down on my windows. And I was going to go out back and smoke a cigarette, but when I went to go put my shoes on, I saw a bunch of little spiders or some kind of insects just jumping off of my shoes. And that was enough to make me like not even want to go outside anymore. Like, I rarely ever had the balls on DPH to go outside in the dark. So I sat back down and I started hearing all kinds of voices just talking about random stuff that was in my room. Like, I had a guitar in the corner of my room, and this voice was talking about how my guitar sucked and how I sucked at playing it. So like, I responded in my head something kind of stupid like, "I'm probably better than you, bitch." And when I said that, I started hearing like knocks and a few other weird noises. And in my head, I said, "I'm not scared, I know it's just a Benadryl." And this voice said back to me, "What are you talking about?" And I explained I'm on Benadryl and I know what it does. So this other voice called me a loser, and then they just went back to talking shit about everything in my room. So I put my headphones on so I didn't have to hear it anymore, and I found some music to listen to, and I'm zoning out, just sitting there in my chair. And next thing I remember is that I'm smoking a phantom cigarette, which is basically, when you're on DPH, if you smoke cigarettes, you'll be just smoking a cigarette and it's not even real. So I'm just sitting there. And of course, when I realize I'm not actually holding a cigarette, I look down and there's nothing there. And man, that is always such a weird feeling when you're doing something like smoking a cigarette and then look down and there's never anything there the whole time. It's just a really, really weird feeling. And I had my drink on the bottom of my desk. And so I go to reach for it, and I swear I must have missed it like 5 times. Like, I was just grabbing nothing. I wasn't even getting close to the drink. Like, the drink could have been here, and I was... My drink could have been here, and I was, like... Finally, a dude managed to get the drink in my hands, and it was a bottle of water, and I take this huge sip, and I could feel all that water just going down inside my body. It was like my mouth and my insides were all just so dried out, so that water was extremely refreshing. And I wasn't even really thirsty that entire night, and so I would forget to take an occasional sip of water just to stay somewhat hydrated. And my mouth was dried out that entire night. And so I had to pee really, really bad, which is pretty normal on DPH. You usually might find yourself peeing a whole lot on DPH. So I go to the bathroom, turn the fan on for some kind of noise, and I start hearing all kinds of voices. It sounded like there was a TV somewhere in the house that I could hear all the way from in the bathroom. But I knew it wasn't a TV because a lot of what I was hearing was what I was thinking, or it would respond to something that I thought, or just something that related to what I thought. So that was pretty weird, but so after I finished up, I was going to go back to my room, and I was going to get on my Xbox and try to play some GTA 5. And this is right when it came out, so it was still new, and it was still a lot of fun. So I go into my room, and I end up just standing there for a few minutes, and I completely forgot what I was even going to do. I was just standing there confused as hell, no idea what I even wanted to do anymore. The memory loss on Benadryl is horrible, and I couldn't remember at all what I wanted to do. So I sat back down at the computer, and I knew what song I wanted to hear, so I get on YouTube, and I click on the search bar, and I start typing, and go figure, of course, I forgot what I was going to look up. And I tried so hard to remember, what I was typing, to the point where, I would just completely overthink it, and then I would completely forget, and just, I was fucking over it. And yeah, I was just getting really irritated about it. Meanwhile, all these voices in my room are just having casual conversations, or just talking shit about me. And I was starting to feel really sick, and my anxiety was spiking. And I go to lay down in my bed, and I'm just trying to breathe because I can hear and feel my heart just pounding. And I was kind of freaking out. And I thought I was dying because I could feel my insides just turning to mush, and my vision would go darker and darker and darker. And so I thought that was death maybe. So I thought maybe going outside and having a quick smoke might help to calm me down some. So I start walking toward the back door where my smokes were, and my stepdad's office was literally right beside the back door, and he was still awake, and I wanted so badly to avoid any interaction with him, but he did see me, and so I went in there, and he was asking if I was feeling okay, just talking to me. And talking on Benadryl requires so much energy. Talking is just a very difficult task. But I told him the best that I could. I was just really tired, and I probably sound like this. I probably did something I'm just really tired. And he probably believed me, since he's never really done any drugs his entire life, and he has no idea what high even looks like. So close call, but anyways, I go outside, light up a smoke, and it tasted terrible. But the nicotine buzz was helping a lot, so I just kind of dealt with it. For me on Benadryl, eating and drinking, and in this case smoking a cigarette, it's so weird because everything leaves a pretty weird, odd taste in your mouth. It's like a weird aftertaste after everything. I don't like eating, I don't like drinking, and I don't even like smoking cigarettes on Benadryl. But anyways, I'm sitting there smoking the cigarette, and I'm looking up at the stars, and I start to see these two stars dancing around each other. Or I would see one star start to kind of drift off, and then it would shoot right back to where it was. Probably the only cool part of the entire trip. And so I go back inside my house, and it's pretty dark throughout the house, until you get to my room. So I'm seeing shadow people all over the walls, and I'm running to my room at this point. I make it back to my room, and I just lay down and close my eyes, and I just watch a bunch of random shit happen. I remember I saw myself playing Mario, and I was killing monsters that weren't even in the game, and the colors were so vivid. Everything was so vivid. It was crazy. Until I did eventually pass out finally, and woke up the next day as usual feeling like garbage. Didn't even want to get out of the bed that whole day, and I just wanted to lay there and watch YouTube videos all day. But yeah, that's my 700 milligram story, and it wasn't a fun experience by any means. I'm so happy that I haven't touched DPH in so long, because that shit really did rewire my brain. I blame a lot of my horrible memory that I have today on Benadryl, 100%. But yeah, anyways guys, I know you like DPH stories, but like I said, they're hard to remember, and a lot of them are just gonna sound the same. I know this wasn't as good as my 900 milligram story, but like I said, please feel free to email me or DM me your trip reports. You can email me, and the email will be in the description, as well as my Discord, where you can add me and DM me on there your trip report. And I will be more than happy to read it on the channel if I'm able to tell it good enough, like I said. But anyways, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the story, please leave a like on the video, leave a comment telling me about your experience, what you thought about this experience, or just tell me what kind of stories you would like to hear next. Also, subscribe to the channel if you'd like. I want to do more than just stories eventually, and hopefully I will be able to do that. And yeah, I just hope to keep uploading somewhat consistently. I'm doing at least, I think, 1 per week right now. But yeah, I'll try to keep that up. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.